What is it you pray for?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the 20th episode of Abyssal Musings with myself, Samuel the Infamous, and my co-host, Lawrence Knight. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
So, you believe it's been 20 episodes?
It's 20 episodes today. Yeah, I was looking at that earlier, and it's funny you mentioned that too, because I was looking at it in comparison to uh, all of the other programs that you have. I was looking at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I only have like 2 programs. The rest of that stuff's just like me streaming random crap.
Yeah. It just I just thought it was funny too, because I thought I could have sworn that we started Abyssal Musings like the week after you started Screaming into the Void. And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Nope. It was much later. I think it was around episode 15 or maybe even 18 of Screaming into the Void. Around that time. And there was also, when I first started doing Screaming into the Void, the very first episode we did, the next week we didn't do an episode. I didn't decide on the weekly thing until after that.
That's right.
So there's actually one extra week in there. And if you go into like playlists or go through the live menu on the channel, you won't find episode 8 because that one I've privated for reasons.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, yeah, I think this week will be 36 episodes for Screaming into the Void, and obviously 20 episodes for this. So, hey, making some noise here on the YouTubes. Let's say hi to the chat. Hi, Michelle. How you doing? Got Logical Spock. Carrie apparently can't make it tonight. Hope you're doing all right, man. I'm not going to go into that conversation. Ozzy, good to see you, brother. Who else we got tonight? Hey, Kohai. Glad you could make it. I see Zeron in the chat. Hey, man. There's Baby Nuts himself, old Shadow of Hawk, who's getting better at the streaming thing himself, actually. He's putting in the work, and he's getting some practice under his belt, and he's getting better at it. It's good to see. It's good to see him grow. So, and right now, I thought I saw Beak earlier too. There he be. Hey, Beak, good to see you, man. So, and that's I think that's everybody who's at least vocal in chat. Appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for coming. We have some kind of huge news for all things YouTube today, and I'm sure some of you have already heard of it. I know a couple of you.
Sorry. Before you go into that, because you do know that we have a proper program. Before we go into that, there's some comments in the chat. Because as you know, as a part of the program, this is the segment where we actually address some of the comments in the chat. If that's okay with you.
Okay. Which comments were you referring to?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, number one, what is Shadow talking about with me being anointed by the clown prince of crime, and something about what the hell did Kohai do?
Well, in Shadow's case, he's probably still running with that joke about JV trying to replace you on here.
New material, my friend. New material. Larry keeps. Oh, okay.
Hey, troll. How's it going, man?
Hey, troll. Bring it on, Larry. What did you do, Kohai?
Oh, yeah, I've got some new memes. We're gonna debut them on Saturday. I haven't got them loaded up yet, but yeah, she sent me a handful of new memes that we're gonna debut. So it should be
Am
fun.
I gonna be blowing up next Thursday?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I'll send it to you. You'll see it first.
You know, Kohai, I have a machine at my house. It's called well, it's not a printing press. It's a machine for custom T-shirts, and I'm wondering if I should start creating some memes of my own and then selling them on the T-shirts.
I mean, that's an option. I mean, I don't see why not.
Well, I guess I'll be. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Kohai.
I think you just made her day.
Tea towels, anything really? Yeah, that's true. But you're trying to change the subject. What did she do? Am I a part of any of this?
I'm gonna have to like open those up. I looked at them the other night and I haven't looked at them since. But let me see. I'm not going to bring any of them up on screen yet, but yeah, there's one on there about you and JV, and then there's another one about that thing you said about eating Shadowhawk like he was chicken.
Oh, okay.
That one's pretty freaking funny. I think you're going to laugh your ass off at that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm still going to cook him. So I actually ran out of blackened seasoning, and I was going to use that on him.
Yeah.
So
and then there's
I have to go out and buy some more.
I got a few new ones for Cat and one more for oh man, Ryan's gonna laugh his ass off. One for him. So, yeah. He's either gonna laugh his ass off or he'll never talk to us again.
I had an idea for a meme this morning, but with any joke, well, it's not even a joke. I actually thought it would be like, a cool, what is that? Like not like a banner, but like a cool logo for Cat. Mm-hmm. But considering what it just popped in my head, and I was like, I don't know, that might be offensive. And I was thinking like an actual cat, like like an Egyptian cat with a hijab.
Well,
I don't know if that's offensive or not, because I'm not Muslim, so I don't want to.
Well, she's already she's already got a logo that she's pretty happy with. That I think was done. Don't quote me on this. I think was done by JT Gunn over of FNR and elsewhere.
Well, that's fine, but I mean the point is that I don't know if that's offensive. I guess I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, it might be a good idea. Because I think I don't think she's gonna get offended, man. Very, very little offense her if it doesn't involve hurting kids. So she's pretty easy. But yeah. So I don't know. She does have one that she likes very much. That she started using a little bit. Trying to get her to actually put it on her channel as opposed to just using it on Ryan's channel. But because it's very cool. It's a stylized, the hijabi gamer, but the first I and the J form like the two dots are like cat's eyes, and then the J is the tail.
Yeah, no, I mean that's nice and all. What is Shadow talking about? Me not being a knight and not even being a squire. I think he's missed the whole idea behind the name of Lawrence Knight.
Militia guy, he was in the army, right? Yeah, like the United States Army, like the greatest army on planet fucking Earth.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was just thinking like, okay, I'm like, it's okay. I can wait until Thanksgiving. That's fine. Anyway.
Which sentence, Bo? I don't know. I can't remember what I had for breakfast. I'd be hard pressed to remember what I said 5 seconds ago, which is going to get me in trouble, I think, online at some point. But yeah. Anyway,
going into the topic, because I know you're itching to do it.
I
And
am.
it's a shame. It is such a shame that Kerry couldn't be here tonight. And I knew he wasn't going to be. But then again, the the mischievous side of me was like, yeah, yeah, we should wait a little bit till he has to go to sleep.
Well, he'll probably want to talk about it on Saturday as well. So, and we probably will talk about this
Oh
again
yeah,
on Saturday.
oh yeah,
I
definitely.
suspect it's going to be a hot topic on YouTube for some time to come.
Oh, it is. Did you see what Jeremy from the quartering did? he got
I
pissed off.
today, no, I haven't. I
He got
haven't.
pissed off when he found out because he's on vacation. He got on there. He was like, she would do this while as soon as I get on vacation. He
Oh,
was like,
that's
I'd
right.
stop my vacation to come on and do this.
Yeah, guy hasn't taken a vacation in like 10, 15 years, and the one time he does. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So getting to the point, the crux of the matter, guys. Susan Wojcicki is stepping down as head of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
She is stepping down, and she put this letter out there. And so we're gonna go over the letter here. I just bring it up on screen so y'all can see it. Now, she did not send this to every creator. She sent this to select creators. Not all of us, but some of those select creators were kind enough to post this openly on Twitter for all to see. Dear creators, earlier today I sent an email to employees announcing that I'd be stepping back from my role as the head of YouTube to start a new chapter focused on my family, health, and personal projects I'm passionate about. All of that whole sentence is code for they are forcing me out. That's what that means. You see this every time a CEO is forced to step down. Every time. Hell, I've even seen it professionally in my own life where someone was forced to step out of a position, and this is the kind of thing that they put out there. They say, "Oh yeah, I got to go focus on myself and my family, and I'm just going to take my life in a new direction." They always say this shit when they've basically been fired by the board or whatever.
Didn't the president of New Zealand, didn't she just do that a few weeks ago?
Yes, she did,
Same exact excuse.
and she was nearly in tears when she made that announcement. She couldn't hide it that well. And I suspect that's why this is in letter format. So it goes on. It has been the honor of my career to have a front row seat to the incredible YouTube community you have built. Your stories of perseverance, creativity, and inspiration were a daily source of motivation and inspired me to be an advocate and steward for this community you all created. It was a constant highlight of my job to sit down with you, hear how you were using the platform, and listen to feedback. Sometimes what you said was tough and candid, but it was important for me and the wider YouTube team to listen and do better. There's that do better phrase again. Today, the YouTube community is incredibly strong. You're building businesses and following your dreams. Yeah, against all odds, actually, because Susan and her cohorts have done everything they could to cripple creators. And it just they're not done. You will continue to have someone committed to building and advocating for creators at the helm of YouTube. YouTube's longtime chief product officer, Neil Mohan, will take over the leadership role. He is an excellent leader and understands this community and what you need today, tomorrow, and in the future better than anyone. Yet, so this guy understands what we need. Fuck that. I plan to stay around for a period of time to help Neil with the transition and will serve as an advisor to Google and Alphabet. I remain just as convinced today as when I started 9 years ago that YouTube's best days are ahead of it. From shorts to podcasting, streaming to subscriptions, I am excited to see what comes next. And with Neil and our incredible team of employees, you will all be in good hands. That's a lie. And also, as far as serve as an advisor to Google and Alphabet goes, so Alphabet is the corporation that basically the umbrella corporation over Google, and Google owns YouTube and so on and so forth. And if she's going to be hanging around, that means that they can't force her out entirely. And I would hazard a guess that that's because she knows where some of the bodies are buried.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. Well, let me read this off for everybody else. Finally, thank you for everything over the years. Thank you for welcoming me into your studios. We didn't do that by choice. Your homes and your lives. Thank you for letting me be a part of the incredible stories you're sharing with the world. How can we share them with the world when you were blocking us from sharing them? Anyway, here's the key thing that I noticed when this letter was posted. How can you focus on yourself and your family and you're advising Google and Alphabet?
Mm-hmm.
That in itself tells you that she's lying.
Well, again, that focus on myself and my family, that is always the code used for them saying, I've been fired from this job.
Now the question is, why was she fired? Now here's what a certain YouTuber said earlier today, and I don't know if it could just be the timing. But the day after uh, Congress announces that they're going to be doing more investigations on Google and other social media platforms, she quits the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that it happened this quick, and I don't believe that anything is going to be any different. Whether it's this guy or anybody else. I think he's simply going to pick up where she was leaving off. So it just really makes me curious as to what happened. What did
Yeah.
she do in particular that caused this to happen?
Would you like to know what I think?
Go for it.
I think it's because she costs shareholders too much money with her the way she's been running things. The way she's been running things has been driving off major channels to other platforms like Rumble, for example. Not just Rumble, but like Rumble, for example, and they've been taking their followers with them, which means massive losses in ad revenue.
That'll do it. But if you're gonna replace her with somebody else who's gonna do the same doggone thing, and then you've got her in a position where she's going to be well, I guess you've got to do a handoff anyway because she was in the position. But if this guy's going to be doing the same thing,
Hey, Squatch.
then there was no. What was the purpose of allowing allowing her to resign? What difference was it? And what you said, it makes perfect sense. I didn't even think about it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think she pissed off the shareholders. That's because she's been driving out, like, for instance, when they nuked Nick Rekieta a couple of months back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, you could get on, I forget the site. I think it might have been Razors, where you can get all of the analytic data for other channels. And at the time, he was not the top, but he was like the second or third highest ad revenue earner in YouTube in the United States.
Yeah, no, he said he was second.
Yeah, and he took all of those subscribers with him to Rumble.
Yep.
All of them. He gets more views on Rumble. He makes more money on Rumble than he was doing on YouTube.
Right.
And he took that ad revenue out of YouTube's hands. And if he was the second highest earner in the United States, I mean, now granted, it wasn't worldwide, but it was in the United States. That is a huge loss in ad revenue. And that's just
also,
that's one guy.
Yeah, but also realize too, on top of that,
thank you, Boa, Social Blade. That's the one.
There's a formula that they've all adopted, and it seems like all of the major platforms, they just figured it out. Like, hey, we'll stream on here just a little bit to get everybody in, and then we'll tell them to jump over to Rumble after an hour.
Yeah,
I know Fresh and Fit's doing that. I'm just using them as an example.
Well, yeah,
but several other people are doing it, and then you have other bigger names, like huge names, people that you see on the news and on TV all the time. Mm-hmm. They're not even bothering to come to YouTube. They're just going straight to Rumble.
Oh, Salty Cracker. Almost all of Salty Cracker's good content is on Rumble now. I think he only bothers with YouTube at all just to get people to go watch him on Rumble. That's it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what everybody's doing.
Yeah, and it's bare minimum with him. So yeah, and it's all these guys are jumping ship, and they're taking all of their subscribers with them. I mean, I think even ignoring all the recent controversy, Crowder, when he gets booted off of YouTube and he goes over and does a show on Rumble, he's still doing like 87,000 live viewers.
Mm-hmm.
which for Rumble, now there are people who say, oh, well, Crowder did it over there, so anybody could do it. No, that's not true. Crowder has a much, much bigger following than most people. You know, most people who jump over there are not going to see those kinds of numbers, not anytime soon. But a few of these cases, like him, they're taking a ton of money out of the hands of the shareholders at YouTube.
Go woke, go broke, right? But that's what happens when you start shadow banning and doing all this other stuff to people. And in some cases, the shadow bans aren't even working. Like, okay, like you have Camelot 321. He said he's shadow banned. I'm like, why is he shadow banned?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that he's doing is a violation of YouTube's terms of services. He's not. Nothing the guy does warrants a shadow. Like, this is crazy.
No. You know, and I don't follow Viva Frey or Robert Barnes. I don't particularly care for them that much, but Bo is absolutely right here. They do huge numbers over there, and they do it with this kind of model. You know, like, you know, hey, we're going to tempt you with the 30 minutes, and you know, watch the rest of the show. It's going to be over on this other platform.
And that's what I was saying earlier. That's what all the major content creators are doing now. They're just like, hey, they do enough to get people in, and then they say, hey, okay, we're jumping over to Rumble.
Yeah. So now myself, I'm still trying to figure Rumble out. Their UI still sucks. There's still a few technical issues on that side that are have proven difficult to navigate, at least, especially for somebody like me. I'm not that tech savvy, so you know, I like everything that I do here on YouTube, I basically learned by doing, and I'm having this basically start over because it's very different over there. But yeah, a lot of these guys, like you know, Crowder, for example, has a team of fucking engineers and producers. You know, people who know how to do this stuff inside and out. So you know, he's good to go. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, this is I think that's what happened with Mama Susan. I think she got booted because she was costing them too much money. You know, because her restrictive policies are driving top tier creators off the platform.
Yeah, they don't care about the little ones. You know, the little ones, they just say, hey, you know, we don't even, you know, they're not really bringing anything in. But a lot of the smaller ones do start to get attention, you know? And it's like, are you guys trying to, it's like they're trying to kill off certain creators before they get bigger, you know? And then you have the stories about, I'm not going to say his name, but certain YouTubers that she was favoriting, you know, she was showing favoritism towards, and, you know, and was like deleting channels that were, you know, that were rivaling the YouTubers that she was favoring, just all kinds of stuff.
Well, I mean, take PewDiePie, for example, has probably done, he's one of the most successful YouTubers in the history of the platform. You know, he is independently wealthy to a ridiculous degree, and he got in early and all that stuff. Now they would love to get rid of him because of some of the shit that he says, but they haven't been able to do it because, again, he drives that revenue algorithm with the advertising.
Yeah,
you know. Hell, at this point, I don't even think he's doing it for money. He's just doing it because he likes doing it. He doesn't need the money anymore. You know, you got guys like Mr. Beast who everything he's done in the last 2 years has lost like $1.5 million each. You know, but he's got that money to throw away because of YouTube. You know, and I say throw away, like Mr. Beast does a lot of charity stuff. So I mean, it's not like it's not going somewhere where it's needed or anything. But you know, like he's got that kind of money to throw around because he did very, very well on YouTube.
right.
You know, and guys like you know, there are certain factions within YouTube who want to get rid of those old guard YouTubers. You know, they want to change the face, they want to keep it fresh and young and all that stuff, but they can't quite excise them out of it because these are the guys who basically built the platform.
They built a platform. And why are you trying to get rid of people? Why are you trying to get rid of YouTubers that people like? Like you're not, all you're going to do is piss off the people that are driving the revenue, which is the viewers.
Yeah. So, and that's, I think, honestly, I think that's basically what it comes down to with Mama Susan and her sudden announcement, but I don't think that she's out the door entirely. I mean, as she said in her letter, she will be doing some consultation for Alphabet and Google, which to me means that, you know, they were able to remove her from her CEO position, but they could not get rid of her entirely. Kind of like Kathleen Kennedy, excuse me, over at Lucasfilm,
Yeah.
because she knows where all the bodies are buried. She knows too much about too many fucking people.
Yeah, it's the only reason why she's still over there. I suspect with Susan, it's that, and it also depends on what's in her contract, you know, and if they want to buy her out of her contract. But I do think you're right. I think it was one of those things where, you know, she was like, "Well, I don't want to leave all the way," but I have to say this too. What in the world is? What in the hell are you going to advertise Google on, let alone Alphabet?
Good night, Squatch.
What are you going to advise? What are you going to advise them on? Who would listen to you if she did get removed because of her YouTube policies? Who in their right mind is going to listen to her?
Right.
At Alphabet and Google, especially Alphabet.
No, if I had to guess, it's probably one of those golden parachute positions where she'll be paid basically to sit in the back and keep her fucking mouth shut. Because they obviously they can't just cast her out, but they don't want her having any kind of influence. So when she says consulting or advising or whatever, that basically means that they're gonna, you know, pay her to, you know,
just keep her mouth shut,
not be in charge. Yeah.
Or if she's gonna consult somebody, it's like literally telling somebody where the bathroom is if they ask.
Yeah. And by the way, YouTube, this is all conjecture and speculation. I don't know any of this for a fact. I'm just going off of experience.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's the big news. So we will see what happens with the new guy. What was his name? Mohan. We will see how that works out. I do not have faith in the choice that they're making there. I know there's a bunch of people out there who are talking on Twitter and on YouTube, and they're saying, "Oh, this could be a really good thing for YouTube." And yeah, that's true. It could be, but the likelihood of that is so goddamn low that it might as well be non-existent.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Susan has been at YouTube. Susan has been with YouTube in that position for 9 years. And evidently the powers that be there, the investors, whatnot, nobody had a problem with what she was doing until the major YouTubers started jumping over the rumble.
Yeah, and I imagine that it probably will get a lot better in the short term very quickly, because they're going to want to entice people to stay. They're going to want to entice people to come back. And they can't do that without sweetening the pot. But when they do, I almost guarantee this, there will be another change in terms of service that locks creators into staying with this platform no matter how screwed they get.
And the other thing too is that you also have the EU that came out with that new rule, was it a month or two ago, that affects YouTube, at least, you know, it affects them broadcasting in any country that's in the EU. So it like almost de facto forces YouTube to conform to their law. Otherwise they can't access,
it's,
you know. So it's like
a pretty common thing to get hit for violating German law when you're not in Germany.
Correct. So it's like, how much change can this guy really do?
I think Legion Games, he's been hit by that. Oh, you violated laws in Germany, and it's like, I'm not in fucking Germany.
Yeah.
You know, but he had to go through the appeal process because it's just an automatic strike. You know, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he said something about that.
You know how YouTube's going to fix that, and it's a simple fix too, and they're going to put it on the YouTubers to make the decision.
Oh yeah.
They're probably going to put, if it's not on there already, they're probably going to put a button on there to decide who you're broadcasting to. Are you just broadcasting just in the continental US, or is it going to be worldwide? And then they'll give you a warning. Hey, if you're broadcasting worldwide, then you're subject to somebody's laws in Australia, for example.
Yeah, well, and Bo brings up a point here because Bill C-11 is, I think they passed it, didn't they? It just hasn't been ratified yet, but that's the plan, which is a massive censorship bill in Canada that will, from what I understand, restrict what Canadians not only can broadcast but what they can view. So anything that's made outside of Canada will pretty much be cut off automatically, especially if it comes from the States. Um, and
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you saw the protest was a few
Mhm.
weeks ago, some of the protesters out there were carrying, they were, carrying the American flag.
Yeah. And
So
so, yeah, but it's, what that's going to basically mean though is because that's law in Canada now, right?
yeah.
So if a YouTuber in Florida says something that violates Bill C-11 in Canada, they're going to get hit then too.
Well, that's what I was just saying right now is that they're gonna put it on the YouTubers. They're probably gonna add a
Mhm.
button that you're gonna have to click on to hey, if you're gonna broadcast, if you want this to go to any area besides the continental US, you are subject to the laws of that country. And if
Mhm.
you get struck, it's on you because we told you.
Mhm.
Guarantee you that's coming. That's how they're gonna get themselves around it.
Well, and this goes back into the globalization thing. We should not be subject to another country's sovereign laws any more than they should be subject to ours.
Yeah, and if they think about it, and they didn't think about it, isn't that what caused Brexit? Didn't the Brits get sick and tired? The Brits were like, why are people in Brussels telling us what we can and can't do?
Yeah, it had a lot to do with it. Yeah, I mean, it had a lot to do with economics too. But yeah, they were not happy with the situation.
Yeah.
They were like, why are we answering to this single continent government, which is, as we know, a dry run for a single world government.
Yeah. And it's gonna come up too.
Mhm.
Watch when the other platforms follow suit, and then all of a sudden, uh, uh, politicians start getting hit with them strikes.
Mhm.
You'll be like, wait a minute, we're not in New Zealand. We're not in this place. What in the
Yeah.
world?
So that would be my guess as to what's going on. Is this is like they're gonna entice people back in and all that stuff. Susan's gonna go off to her little corner and get paid to, be in that corner. And you know, then they're gonna bring the hammer down with new TOS that makes us subject to the laws of every country except ours.
But the funny thing is that so you do something in America, and here's where it's going to get tricky. Now, say some other country gets upset with you, and the penalty for violating that particular law requires jail time. So now you're going to have this country that's going to come to the U.S. and demand that they extradite you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad enough that certain countries like Britain, like Canada, will jail their own populace for what they say. But now you're talking about the possibility that Britain or Canada could jail you, a U.S. citizen in the U.S.,
For
for
something
what you
you
say.
did in America, because the platform you're on is
Mhm.
broadcasting in worldwide, and you had nothing to do with that. Honestly, if you think about it, that in itself will kill YouTube. It will kill
Mhm.
it.
Well, it's not just YouTube though. I mean, they're going to apply this to the internet at large. The single greatest information and communication tool in the history of mankind will be bent to the will of a handful of fucking people. I mean, like I can't even begin to emphasize the colossalness of that as a bad fucking idea.
Well, I think people get it, and I don't think it's gonna. I'm more of an optimist, as you know that. I
Mhm.
don't think that it's gonna go the way that they want. People are, because you have countries that are already restricting information, and people are still finding out stuff. So so they're not going to be able to keep everybody oblivious. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, like Boa brought up the Chinese internet. Like, yeah, that does restrict them, but there are a lot of very smart young people in China who are getting information anyway.
Yep.
you get the same issue in Iran. There are people who are very, very good with technology and getting around, things like that in Iran, and they're doing it. I mean, hell, a few of them even communicate with the outside world, but they're not supposed to be, not by law.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Boa, until they co-opt VPNs, yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, use a VPN, guys. However, make sure that you use VPNs that are made and sold from countries that are outside of the Five Eyes and the Nine Eyes. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Trust me on this. These are the Five Eyes and the Nine Eyes are two different groups of nations, and they're not 100% different. I think the U.S. is in both of them, where the laws allow the government to spy on their citizens. So you don't want to get a VPN from, say, the U.S., for example, or obviously from China, certain other countries. You want to get it from a country that's not involved in that shit. Britain's another one. Don't get a British one. So yeah, check that out. Look that up. Make sure you do your research. The VPN I use is, I think it's Swiss, actually. Neutrality Central. But yeah, that's you. Make sure that when you get
I'm
a
looking it
VPN,
up here. It says Sweden is they are part of the 14 Eyes Alliance. Excuse me.
yeah, but Switzerland isn't.
Oh yeah, no, I'm tripping.
It's like Switzerland's a different country, dude.
Well, I figured that out by now.
Yeah. So, but just do your research on your VPNs and all that stuff. Actually, Boa, yeah, that's the one I use. I use Proton VPN. It's a good VPN. And it's pretty affordable. It's pretty user friendly, and it comes from a country that's not going to sell your private fucking information to the government that pays for it. So, I'm not shilling for them like they're not. This isn't like a paid advertisement or anything. I'm just telling you that's what I use, and I think it's a good choice. There are other good choices out there. Do your research first, but make sure that you get a VPN. And there will come a time, I think, where even that's not going to be enough, but we're not there yet. So just speaking of which, and I know this is off the program. I don't suppose you caught any of that World Government Conference.
No, and you should say that for Saturday.
Yeah, I plan to. I'm just saying that all of this shit ties into all of that shit.
Oh no, I'm already. You forget what I was doing for years. I'm already tracking on that.
Yeah. So I call him Darth Schwab for a reason, folks. I know Kerry disagrees with me on that. He thinks it's the Ayatollah, but that guy's only a threat to his own fucking people.
Yeah. Moving on. Speaking of threats, I don't know if you guys watch a YouTuber named Melanie Mac.
Mm-hmm.
She has a YouTube channel called Melanie Mac Go Boom. So apparently Melanie's had a stalker. I heard rumblings about her having a stalker back in December. And that was amongst some others having a stalker. but that's a good one, Troll. But apparently, so Melanie got served with court papers yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now,
yeah, I've been following it myself.
Yeah, apparently she had some kind of get together not too long ago, and the stalker drove 15 hours to meet her, and I'm not well versed in all the information, but apparently the guy stated at one point that Melanie was his future wife. She didn't reciprocate his feelings, and next thing she knows, she gets court papers in the mail, and the court date was the next day, which was yesterday. and she had to be in court because this guy was suing her for stalking.
Yeah, I've been following her updates on that too, and
Yeah.
now she's not talking a lot about it because she doesn't really want this to be out in the public eye, but she's also trying to make sure that she doesn't end up dead because she didn't say anything,
Right.
and all that, and a lot. I think a lot more has gone on than she said because she hasn't been putting it out there. Like there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we're not hearing about on this, which is fine because she wants to keep that private. That's up to her. I think she's a great fucking YouTuber. I think she's a great personality. She's funny, witty, and I don't know. This guy seems a little unhinged. This is
A little.
what happens when you develop a parasocial relationship with somebody on the internet that you don't really know. And it doesn't always go to like these extremes. You don't always end up in court. People don't always show up on your doorstep with a gun and a cake, but it can. And that's why you got to be careful out there. I mean, Melanie is a public figure at this point, and she has been for some time. I mean, she's done beer commercials for Christ's sake, and I think she was a spokesperson for GameStop for a long time.
I bet she regrets that.
I don't know. I think she did okay off of it.
No, I mean, considering what GameStop has been doing.
Oh yeah, she hasn't had anything to do with them in years. I don't think it bothers her that much. Aside from the fact that she's a gamer, yeah, I could see from a customer perspective she'd be pretty pissed about it. But and a lot of the stuff a lot of the shit that she gets, she's one of those people who puts herself kind of like aspects of herself, I should say, out there. Like she's very vocal about being a Christian. She's very vocal about being on this keto diet thing. She's very vocal about her stance on reworking classic characters to fit quote unquote modern audiences, and she's unapologetic about her opinions.
Yeah.
And it pisses people off.
Yeah. But then in this guy's case though, he's just sick. And I mean, Joker voice, he hit it on it. He hit it round head. And
Patrol, yeah, she is hot. It's like I'm not gonna lie about that. She's a very attractive woman. She looks about 10 years younger than she is. She's 36. She looks 36. Like she's 26, 27.
So I think she looks younger than that. She looks like she's like early 20s to me. Like when I first saw her photos, I was like, what is she about 22, 23? And they were like, she's 36. I'm like, that's a damn good filter. Either that or that keto diet is really working. So or it's just natural. But
yeah, well, she looked different a few years back before she started like eating different and all that stuff. And so like her hair's a lot thicker and fuller now. She's lost weight in certain places. She's toned. She goes to the gym all the time, so she looks a lot better. And she was never unattractive. She just is she's a damn good looking woman, actually.
Well,
see if I can find a recent picture of her. God damn, these are all really old.
But continuing on, I was happy to hear about the results of her court case. I watched it earlier today, and she said that as soon as the judge got a hold of the guy's complaint, she looked at him and said, "Are you kidding me?" And she said sometimes her staff will read the court documents before it gets to her, and sometimes she reads it directly. And she said that if she had gotten a hold of the court document first, if she had read it first, it never would have made it to trial. She would have thrown it out. And I agree with Melanie. The guy's point was to basically, he was trying to red flag her and get her gun rights taken from her, probably so that he could go and kidnap her. Because if she's following, because once the court flags you like that, you have 24 hours to turn your weapons into the police or they come after you. So he would have known, hey, okay, she's disarmed. I can go grab her. I don't have to worry about catching a slug in the head.
Yeah, and she's mentioned that too, that she feels like this is an attempt to disarm her.
Exactly. And he said, tell you how stupid he is. The first thing he said was he's gonna appeal it. And she was like, well, good luck with that, because I have a ton of evidence against you, you know? And by the way, there is, I don't know if you want to post it, but she does have, for those of you, if you guys are interested in, she didn't want to do I've never heard of Give and Go. I guess it's like GoFundMe. But the quartering convinced her to open it up, and if anybody wants to donate to it, I mean, it's there. You can go on Melanie's, go on her channel. Excuse me. You go on her channel and look it up, or type it up. It's a giveandgo.com/Melanie Mack.
Yeah, she's I think she's on that because like GoFundMe is not good at all. Especially not after all that shit that they pulled with the truckers. But there were other incidents prior to that and after.
What incident with the truckers?
The Canadian truckers? Yeah, people were sending GoFundMe
they were donating money
GoFundMe,
and they blocked it.
They didn't just block it; they froze the funds of Americans at the behest of the Canadian government. Americans who were trying to donate to truckers. And that was just one more incident of them showing their commie bias, frankly. So yeah, a lot of people have been avoiding GoFundMe. I only ever used it one time, and I think it was I'm pretty sure it was when that cab driver was killed by those two teenage girls. And I donated to his family's funeral fund, and that's the only time I've ever interacted with those guys. So, and then I think Give Send Go stepped up to kind of fill in that slack, and they got shut down by the government. So, it's just it's a whole mess. So this other one that you mentioned that she started up, that Melanie Mack started up, like I haven't heard of that before, but it's probably good reason.
You have the link if you want to show it.
Let's see.
I mean, here I can post it.
Do you in fact have the link? Oh, it is Give Send Go. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I got you. I'm gonna actually post that link in the chat for everybody. Oh, hold on a second. My stupid highlighter is.
By the way, a poem has been sent to you.
Yeah, I know. I just forwarded it to you.
Okay.
So, believe it or not, I was paying attention.
No, I believe you. I wasn't sure if you saw it.
All right. Copy. All right. I'm going to post the link for that in the main chat here for everybody. If you're interested in all that stuff. And she's not looking for a ton of stuff. She's just looking to make sure that, she doesn't get basically screwed out of being allowed to defend herself.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I understand what the court system is trying to do, especially when you have a domestic incident, but I'm still not convinced that them doing that is constitutional.
It isn't. It's not. It's interfering with the free market. And it's.
But I mean, requiring somebody to turn in their weapons under the threat of arrest. I'm like, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's a constitutional violation.
Oh yeah, it is. Any restriction on firearms, on citizens possessing firearms in this country is a violation of their constitutional rights. Yeah. Any restriction.
But yet the guy sitting in the White House right now is talking about giving money that we don't have to states to bribe them to institute red flag laws.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you try that last year?
Yeah, he's been trying that for 40 years. Well, maybe not quite 40 years. Ever since the Bush administration allowed that the quote unquote original assault weapons ban to, or I think it was called assault rifle ban at the time, to lapse because there was a finite amount of time that was going to be active.
Right.
Ever since then, yeah, he's been on that oh, we got to ban them all again bandwagon.
Man, he's just trying to stay in office. Nobody with a brains. Well, let me take that back. I was gonna say nobody with a brains gonna vote that man back in office, but they voted for him the first time.
I don't know that. Yeah, there's a bunch of people who did vote for him. There's a bunch of people
bunch
who
of
have
dead
buyer's
people.
remorse about it.
Yeah. Well, granted, a lot of them are allegedly dead. You know. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so Melanie Mack, I know she's that she's doing okay, but she is saying that is apparently it's not over. This guy is just he is refusing to leave her alone, and my fear for her is that some stupid judge that's not paying attention is going to grant this guy his request.
Yes, Michelle, I've already forwarded it to Larry.
Yeah, don't worry, Michelle. We'll get to it. We've got a full schedule tonight.
Allegedly.
Exactly, allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah, if you pray for if not, keep your fingers crossed. If you go to her channel or whatever, leave some words of encouragement or something in her chats and her comment sections. If you find her on Twitter, it's just say, hey, I hope you're okay. Just whatever, just that kind of thing. Well wishes towards her, I guess. Because she doesn't deserve this shit. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, and he's just allegedly, I have to say this. He's just allegedly some psycho that just the guy's not in his right frame of mind. He's on video taunting her and telling her to come and get him and do all this other stuff, and she's like, "Dude, just leave me alone."
Yeah. So yeah, it's just is what it is. So yeah, fingers crossed that everything works out for her, and that this dude is that he backs the fuck off, because she has said herself she doesn't want bad shit to happen to him. She doesn't want him to lose his job. She doesn't want him to go to jail. She doesn't want anybody going after him. She just wants to be left the fuck alone. So fingers crossed.
You know what? And no disrespect to to all you ladies out there. That's the problem with some women these days, is that they'll say all that, and it's like, and you wonder why things end up happening to you in the end. Something needs to happen to this guy. He needs to go to jail. Something needs to happen to him. Now, vigilante justice, nobody needs to go to jail for jumping on this guy, but some kind of legal consequence needs to happen to him.
I agree. And did you hear what she said about what the judge said? Yeah, where he goes up, but before he gave his statement, she's like, "Look, I'm going to allow this because, like, not everything case who comes before me, not everything do I get to see before we're up here. But if it had come before me before this, I would have dismissed this outright because it's bullshit."
I just told you that earlier.
Yeah,
I just said that. Well, in so many words, but you heard what he said afterwards. He's like, "Well, I'm going to appeal," so he's not leaving it alone. It's like, how high up is this guy gonna go? So now she's got to do this GoFundMe because this fool's gonna keep dragging her back into court.
Yeah. So it is. I don't know.
Yeah, Michelle's right. She does need to press charges on him. She does.
She may need to do that.
In fact, she needs to file a dog on restraining order against him.
Right. But she needs to file a countersuit first because she is currently being sued by him.
Yeah.
So.
which
You
is
know?
what I think the lawyer is for.
Mhm.
But I mean, no judge with any brain is gonna think that no judge with any brain is gonna think that this is warranted. In fact, and here's the funny thing is that she's in Texas and he's in Florida, and I'm like, well, Texas has don't they have what's that law what's
Castle
that thing?
doctrine?
No. It's what got Vic Mignogna screwed over. It's a anti-slap laws. So it never should have. I mean, I'm guessing that's she. I'm tripping over my words.
Yeah.
I already tell I'm getting tired. But I think the judge that she went before, I think they're in Florida because I think a Texas judge it wouldn't have gotten that far.
It probably wouldn't have, and yeah, it is. He did file in Florida because she had to be on Zoom to appear in court.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So how? And that's the thing. How is Florida gonna dictate?
Hey, John.
Texas has completely different laws. How is Florida going to dictate what this woman has to do? What is Florida going to make her do? Because they'll have to go through Texas authorities, and the Texas authorities are going to look at it and they're going to be like, this guy's nuts.
Not necessarily. If you get convicted of something outside of the state of your residence, 9 times out of 10, the state of your residence will comply with whatever thing.
Not necessarily. I have cops and lawyers in my family,
and I have a bunch of friends who've had to deal with exactly that. To be fair, most of them were guilty as shit, but
exactly. I'm talking about a case like hers in particular. I had a family member that got in trouble and ended up having to get sent to Texas also. And Texas was like, don't bring your they were like, hey, we're gonna let you go, but don't ever come back to the state of Texas. What did he do a month later? Went back to Texas for a girl and ended up in prison for 3 years. They were like, we just told you don't come back here. But no, I'm talking about somebody in her particular case, not your friends that were guilty of sin. I'm talking about somebody like her. They're going to look at like that. That's a citizen of your state that's being terrorized by a lunatic in Florida. Mm-hmm. How is a Florida judge going to tell this woman to turn her weapons in to where to Texas police?
I think
Texas police already know what's going on.
I think enforcement would be an issue across state lines, but they would certainly hand that order down. Sure,
they'll hand it down, and then Texas will laugh at them.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes spill it out of my head sometimes, man. Sorry.
But no, I wish her well. I'm definitely in her corner, and that guy, especially these days, man. And then Florida is Florida. Mm-hmm. So in the end, I think he's only going to end up hurting himself. But I think that she needs to, like I said, she needs to countersue. She can still file a restraining order against him, and she should. She should.
Well, if you really think about it, isn't this whole situation very Florida man? Like Florida man sues hot woman in another state for the very thing that he's doing to her. Stalking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Florida man.
And here's the funny thing too, is that Florida is a stand your ground law. And this dude drove 15. It's like, wait a minute. This fool drove halfway across the country to come and see this woman.
Yeah, JB, I think that actually gets tricky when you're talking about misdemeanors. If felonies, absolutely, but with misdemeanors, it has to do with interdepartmental and interjurisdictional cooperation more than because the U.S. Marshals, their jurisdiction is all of the United States.
Yeah.
But they mostly deal with things like terrorism and like felonies and that sort of thing.
This is too low on the totem pole for them. Like if I was U.S. Marshal and that came down, I would laugh. I wouldn't even bother going to pick her up.
Yeah, and in most states, stalking's not even a crime unless violence is committed.
Yeah,
it's just not. And I know that from experience too. From not that I was doing any stalking, but knowing people who have been stalked, the police will tell you over and over and over again,
they can't do
shit unless something happens, which
Yeah.
usually by the time something does, somebody is either hurt or dead, so it's too
Yeah,
fucking late to do anything anyway. But so yeah, anyway, fingers crossed for Melanie. She seems like a great girl. She does good content, you know. I'm actually let's see, I'm gonna put her channel in the private chat, or in the public chat here too, if you all want to go check her out, because I think she's worthwhile. If you're into, you know, gaming reviews and pop culture stuff is mostly what she covers. Things like what have you, Tomb Raider especially.
Mm-hmm.
This Melanie Mac Go Boom. She had another channel, but it's been nuked for a long time. Melanie Mac is Go Boom is the current channel.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's great. Go check her out. A lot of fun. She also eats sticks of butter, if that's a thing that you'd be interested in, like, seeing. It's weird. I don't get it, but you know, it's part of the whole keto diet thing. But it's like that's a lot of fucking butter, if you ask me.
Hey, so guys, before we move on to the next topic, we've got a poem from Michelle. You want me to read that first, or because I know once we go into this next topic, it's gonna be on once we go into this next topic. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me do this. Let me do this first. So, guys, this poem is called "Galloway Girl" by Michelle. Galloway girl, Ireland's girl of wild heart, her kiss of wild love and ecstasy, honey on your lips. She is a Galloway girl. Gaelic girl, she dances with the moon of fire in her veins. Come, my love, dance with me. Let me be your Galloway girl. Taste forever on my lips, true love's kiss. Let me be your Irish lass, ears, Gaelic girl. Follow me, my love, into ancient mist. Let me be your Galloway girl tonight. Gaelic girl, she dances with the moon, a fire in her veins. Come, my love, dance with me. Let me be your Galloway girl. Dance with me, my love, under moonlit skies. Take my breath away. Let love's magic guide our hearts. Let me love guide you. Let my love guide you home to me, your Galloway girl. Gaelic girl, she dances with the moon, a fire in her veins. Come, my love, dance with me. Let me be your Galloway girl. I am the siren in the night singing to you. I am the voice of Celtic bliss singing her song. I will enchant your soul. Be my love. Let me be your Galloway girl tonight. Gaelic girl, she dances with the moon, a fire in her veins. Come, my love, dance with me. Let me be your Galloway girl. That's beautiful, Michelle.
Indeed. I was always evocative with the imagery.
But the good thing about the thing that I like about Michelle's poems for me is that when I'm reading it, I can actually see it in my head. It's not just reading it and saying, "Well, yeah, that sounds beautiful." I can actually see the events happening in my head. I can visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read enough poems to know, sometimes that doesn't always happen. But when you have somebody that writes, when you have someone that writes poetry, they either can write it, or they can't, or they're just on fire. And it's always easy to tell when somebody's really good at it. Even among writers, it's talent that doesn't come easy. Writing a poem is more difficult than people think.
That's not a terrible idea, JV.
Yeah.
No.
Sounds like JV's got a problem with my lips.
It's the dulcet chocolatey tones. He just can't help himself. He gets a little sweaty to think of it. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women. sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
I couldn't help it. Hey, look at it this way, JV. At least Larry's not gonna knock you up.
I have a relationship with women.
He's gonna yell at me so much about that.
I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Yeah.
But yeah, well done, Port. Well done, Porn. Well done. All right, guys. So, man, we're really firing through.
Yeah.
So, I saw this yesterday.
Yeah, hold up real quick. Beak, the reason that I can't play that music is because I get hit with a copyright claim every time, because the music comes from it was composed by a guy for the anime Berserk, and on behalf of that guy, there are two different companies, one out of Europe and one out of Asia, that come after me with a copyright claim every single time that music is played. So I have to cut it off before it gets too far into it, unfortunately. Because it is epic. Anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. Hello, Beak, by the way. But I saw this yesterday, this next topic. And I couldn't believe it. And it was funny, too, because I think you and I had talked about this either last week or the week before. And I said, what if this happens? And sure
I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was last week. And sure enough, I wake up this morning and I find out that I think it was Microsoft that did it. I can't remember who was done it. But guys, you know that next week, a certain movie's coming out. A certain movie about a bear.
I can't fucking wait.
Not just any bear. I'm not talking about Yogi Bear. Not even Boo Boo. Most bears.
Could you imagine if it was Yogi?
Oh Lord, Yogi high off his mind. Can you imagine?
Hey, Boo Boo, give me some of that sweet horse.
As hungry as Yogi was, can you imagine if it was weed that fell out of that plane?
Yeah.
And if it was Yogi that got a hold of it, it was eating weed brownies. Can you imagine?
Why, I don't know, Yogi.
Even Boo Boo would.
What would Ranger Smith think about this?
He'd be eating everything he can get his hands on. He'd eat Ranger Smith, Boo Boo, Ranger Smith's car, everything. But anyway.
Hey, yo, Boo Boo.
As you guys know,
I need to steal a picnic basket to pay for all this cocaine.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. I love Yogi.
Anyway. Funny you mentioned that too. But anyway, so Cocaine Bear is coming out next week. Guys, what happened is Samuel and I were having a discussion, and I said, wouldn't it be funny if somebody made a video game out of Cocaine Bear? But then I thought about it, I was like, that's not going to happen because you would have to involve, the bear would have to be high, you'd have to smoke crack and everything. Somebody did it. Somebody created a Cocaine Bear video game. And it's like, it operates like Pac-Man. From what I read. Now, we can't, there's a way to play the game. We can't show it, obviously, because of what the bear is doing. I think I can show let me bring up the article. And if I didn't
yes, Cocaine Bear. It's going to be the greatest movie of the year. Mark my fucking words.
If I'd have known that you was into that, I didn't, man. I bet you watched that what's that old Yogi movie where it was Christmas and he was fighting to stay awake and Ranger Smith was trying to make him go to sleep.
Yes, I did. I like Yogi Bear. I'm sorry. The dude's hilarious.
He's like, go to sleep, Yogi. Like, I ain't going to sleep. Like, kiss my ass, Ranger Smith. Anyway, here's one of them. Okay, guys. Cocaine Bear releases people eating video game. It's addictive. Talk about a high score. The upcoming film Cocaine Bear released a tandem retro-style 8-bit video game Tuesday called Cocaine Bear: The Rise of Pablo Escobar.
Okay.
Here's something to entertain you, wrote the film's Twitter account. Play as me, the titular cocaine bear, and share your high scores. Players assume the role of the coked out bear in a Pac Man style game in which you must collect the small piles of, you guessed it, cocaine, eat several people, and eventually chase down an ambulance. Twitter users have found the game very stimulating so far. It's addictive, quipped one player. Quote, I'd like to say that the social media engagement to promote this movie has been an absolute joy to watch, tweeted another fan. I'm sure the film will be as well, but seeing a cocaine bear post is usually the coolest thing I see on this damn internet all day. We come here today to celebrate the massive W, a third viewer praised. Quote, Cocaine Bear tells the shockingly semi-true story of a bear who had a little too much blow after it was dropped by smugglers in 1985 and terrorized the denizens of Blue Ridge, Georgia. Police later found stashes of the drug, estimated their collective value to be 20 million at the time, and the ferocious black bear who appeared to have eaten several $1 million worth of cocaine. According to the Associated Press, sadly the bear quickly overdosed and died. So the mayhem scene in the new film is mostly a
Good night,
fiction.
JB.
There is a. Oh yeah, there's the bear right there. But yeah, here's a photo of it.
And
In the
that's
game,
all those little
players
spots of
assume the
cocaine.
role of Cokie the bear.
Oh,
Players
God.
assume the role of Cokie the bear in a Pac-Man style game.
Yep.
Wait a minute, there's the ambulance right there. Hey, that's Kohai.
So this is a mobile game.
I don't know if it's a mobile game or if it's on Twitter. I don't know.
I'm
But yeah,
gonna find out right now. I'm gonna see if that's on Google Play
yeah,
right
that's
now.
the ambulance. That's Kohai. I think that's Troll Patrol right there. And one of these little specks is probably no, well, that's the cocaine. I think that's what's left of Shadowhawk right over here.
No, it doesn't look like it's on Google Play. That's a damn shame. I was hoping it was a mobile game because I would actually play that. I would play the shit out of that.
I'm sure you would. But I mean, even with your laptop, it should still work. The film is set to roar into theaters on February 24th and stars Kerry Russell, Alden, whatever, Wrench, Iden Reich, whoever, right, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Ice Cube, and others. So father and son are in this movie. Nice. There's the son, there's the father. Just another story of our immoral society profiting off of others' weaknesses. Where Yeti Squatch. Is that Sasquatch? Yeti Squatch.
It's probably not him. Do you know how many different Sasquatches there are on the internet?
Just the one that we know.
Oh no, there are dozens of them. Dozens. There's another one named Cannoli Squatch who interacts with more of Legion's side of the internet. And they're just like, and I think there's like 4 or 5 of them that interact directly with Caucasian Sasquatch, like Skunk Ape, and I don't remember all their names, but yeah, there's a bunch of guys who use Sasquatch as a handle in one form or another.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I mean, M follows two different ones, so yeah, it is. I don't know. It's just it's seems like this would be a lot of fun. I would like to play this game. I am definitely going to see this movie. And I expect everybody here to see it too, so we can talk about it with spoilers, because I'm going to talk about it with spoilers. So you better go see the movie, because otherwise I'm going to ruin it for you.
Don't do that.
I'm not going to do that on purpose. I'm just saying, go watch the movie so I can talk about it with you guys.
So, you know, at first I had planned on not playing it. I mean, not playing. I'm still looking, trying to find the game. Um, at first I had planned on not watching it, but now I'm like, man, the advertisement and the way that they did it was so good. It's like they basically caught lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fingers crossed it doesn't suck. I mean, if it does, you know, I'll probably still enjoy it because I do like bad movies too. But I mean, fingers crossed it doesn't suck in the modern sense of suckage. No.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That movie's gonna be a cult classic. It's not gonna matter if it sucks. It's not. Of all the, if people can watch Sharknado,
to be 18 years because of the drug use, and you know, like I guarantee it's not because the bear eats people, it's because of the cocaine.
it's because of the yeah. And I already know I'm not gonna. I would play it right now, but you know if I play this, you're gonna get hit with some kind of strike.
Yes, Snakes on a Plane. I don't care what anybody says. That movie is fucking awesome, and it tells you everything you need to know in the title.
No, Snakes on a Plane is Snakes on a Plane is amazing, especially with somebody who has a very healthy fear and respect of snakes like I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and the best part is like I said, the title tells you everything you need to know. It says exactly what that movie is, and it was glorious.
Yep.
Glorious. It's like
now,
it's like.
Now here's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were.
I was just gonna say it's kind of like Freddy versus Jason. Yes, it was a stupid movie, but it was also a fuckload of fun, and you know, so there you have it. I mean, of all the convoluted plans to kill a fucking witness in a federal investigation, like, really? You're going to get a bunch of snakes high on pheromones, have them attack everybody?
Why not? It's a freak accident.
They could have just shot the guy. I'm just saying.
Oh, speaking of that, right? I was watching this video last week, this YouTube video. It was called Animals That Picked a Fight with the Wrong Animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many king cobras I saw get their butts whooped in that video? One of them got beat up by a chicken.
That's pretty funny.
The other cobra got beat up by a cat that it was, and because both cobras were trying to eat the other animal. So this one cobra decided, like, the cat's watching him, right? And this cobra is just moseys on over him. He's getting ready to eat him. The cat backs up and waits, and right when the cobra goes to strike, he dodges and socks him with caught him right.
I think I might have seen that video.
Yeah, that cobra changed his mind real quick. He tried to bite him a couple of times. That cat tore his head up.
Well, here's the thing: is that snakes aren't actually as fast as people think they are, and cats are faster than snakes are.
Yeah.
You know, like some of them obviously are faster than others, but your average pit viper, like a cobra, for example, right?
They're not fast.
You can move your hand faster than it can strike.
Yeah.
You know, you just, like, most people usually get bit because they're being careless or they're not paying attention or they're fucking with it. Right. You know, but you know, most of the time, like, yeah, it's totally avoidable because snakes aren't actually as fast as they make them look like they are in the movies. They're not. And cats are faster than snakes are. So it doesn't surprise me at all that the cat beat the shit out of it. I mean, that's why mongoose do it all the damn time. Yeah. You know, mongoose are very quick little animals. The chicken surprises me a little bit, but chickens are mean bastards.
Well, you know, the chicken too, because it was two different segments. The snake, the chicken, her eggs was underneath it, so she was protecting her eggs. So the chicken's already pissed. The snake is looming over, trying to bite the chicken. Chicken pecked the hell out of that cobra.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, and like chickens are, you know, built for fighting, and they've got their brains are so small they're too dumb to know not to.
Yeah, and you know, and I was wondering too, because the cobra was hitting it, was striking it. Mm-hmm. But then I realized all those feathers, you know, because they don't have hard fangs like a dog or a cat or something like that. So its fangs were just sliding off the feathers,
Mhm.
and it was just peck. And I've seen one hen had her chicks were running around moving, right? One hen fought off 3 cobras trying to eat her chicks.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, the motherly instinct on the part of the hen kind of surprises me a little bit because those birds aren't that motherly. But you know, the fighting them off like that doesn't really surprise me too much. Michelle, there are a bunch of different actual good ways to prepare rattlesnake. I mean, a number of different snakes, but rattlesnake in particular, I would suggest for anybody out there interested, um, you know, get a rattlesnake. Obviously, you know, you want to remove the head and the rattle itself because neither one of those are. I mean, you could eat the head, but why risk the whole venom thing? And the tail is not edible at all. You know, so do that, skin it, throw it in a stew pot for, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours, enough for the meat to just like fall off the bones. Obviously, you want to get all the organs and shit out too. Like, but when the meat falls off the bones, then you can just fish the skeleton out of the pot, right? Drain the liquid, drain the broth, right? And then you take that meat, you scrape it out, and you pack it into biscuit dough and make biscuits with it. And then you bake those biscuits. Right.
And then you line the biscuits with cocaine, and Cokie will come and eat it, get high, and then try to eat everybody else.
I mean, you could do that, but that really wasn't where I was going with this.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, that's a brilliant recipe, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it is good because rattlesnake comes with kind of a natural spice to it that really complements like good biscuit dough.
it's the venom, dude.
Yeah, the venom's not in their whole body. It's
you're just grilling the death out of it.
That's not. The venom is not in the whole body.
Hey, just real quick, I have seen kangaroos fight. Kangaroos are no joke. Kangaroos are no joke.
Oh, kangaroos will kick the man's stomach right through his spine.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know, you ever seen one of those like beefy fuckers' chest muscles? Like they've got muscles that are just shaped weirdly because they've got muscles that are stacked on top of muscles.
You're welcome,
very fit animals. That's good. So, but yeah. So anyway, but try that with rattlesnakes. What I don't recommend doing, as far as the grill goes, don't try to make kebabs out of rattlesnake. There's not enough meat there to make that fucking worthwhile, and most of it's just going to cook directly to the metal. You're going to lose most of it anyway. And I know this because I tried it.
Well, wait a minute. And now that I think about this, you know an awful lot about how to make rattlesnakes. I'm willing to bet that story that you told me last year, that was you that did that. Because hold on, because there's a lot of you that don't know about this story.
Oh, are you talking about the?
No.
Yeah, no, that wasn't me.
No. M, P, POOH, all of you. I'm willing to bet. Samuel knows too much about rattlesnakes. Now he claims
they're everywhere where I live.
But you claim that you didn't do what happened to this particular rattlesnake, and I suspect that you're lying because his family is probably filed a wrongful death suit.
Well, they're not real big on lawsuits, dude. They're snakes. I mean,
that's not. Hey, there's nowhere in our court system that says that an animal can't file a lawsuit against you.
Right.
And after what you did to that rattlesnake,
I didn't do anything to it. I witnessed this happen. I had nothing to do with it.
Yes,
it wasn't even a local fucking rattlesnake.
No. But you've been out of town before, haven't you?
On occasion.
Yes or no? Hey, yes or no?
Yeah.
You've been out of town. Okay. So then you're gonna tell me that, and you've driven a car before, right? Yes or no?
Oh, Jesus.
No, yes or no?
I have.
So you're going to tell me that I'm supposed to believe that you witnessed somebody drive from out of town with a rattlesnake wrapped around their wheel, wrapped around the axle, and that the rattlesnake just dropped off once they stopped and just slithered off like a drunk old man somewhere and died?
Yeah.
with tire marks all over it.
That not tire marks. It wasn't covered in tire marks. It was wrapped around the axle.
And how would you know that type of detail unless you were the one that was driving the car?
Because I was about 8 feet from the fucking vehicle it fell off of at the time. So you guys are probably wondering what the hell happened. So a while back, I worked at this truck stop, middle of fucking nowhere, about 30 miles from any other place. And we got a lot of tourists through there because we're right on a major cross country interstate. I'm not going to give too much detail about specifically where we were, but anyway, so I'm working out there. I go out to I don't know. I was doing trashes or sweeping cigarette butts up or something, and this Jeep with California plates pulls up, and of course it was California plates because it's always Californians. And the people go, they get out, they go inside, they're doing their, rest stop stuff. And about 3 minutes later, this thing falls off the axle, and it was a diamondback rattlesnake. We don't have diamondbacks out here. We have prairie rattlers and we have timber rattlers. They're much smaller. And it looked dazed and hurt and confused and pissed. If you could, it's hard to tell with reptiles. They don't really show a lot of emotion on their faces, but it was clearly upset because I guess what had happened was it had crawled up under the Jeep for, warmth or something, probably heat from the engine or whatever. And it had wrapped itself around the axle. And these guys got in the car and took off on a cross country trip. And it was not fucking prepared for that. And so by the time it got there, its whole underbelly, I imagine, was probably pretty jacked up from the friction that would have been caused by going 80 miles an hour down an interstate for, a few states. And it slithered off, and I'm kind of hoping it died of its wounds, because otherwise it's probably still out there breeding with the locals and creating like hybrid super rattlers. So yeah,
I'm sure it's dead.
I hope so.
It's dead.
I fucking hope so.
But that's also that's a testament to the strength of a diamondback to go hundreds to go that many miles.
Well, it's like 6 to 8 feet of solid muscle,
But for it to even survive that, I would have thought it would have been ripped apart.
You'd think so. Yeah, you would think so. I got a new meme here from Kohai that I am going to show here.
All right. She
just sent me this on account of our discussion earlier. Look at the nose.
Oh my gosh!
Look at old Boo Boo here. He's just like looking it up. That's perfect. I love it. And, hey Boo Boo, look at what I have here in this picnic basket.
Hey, let's. I'm glad that you put that up, because you know why. Kohai, if you're listening, I'm glad you did that, because it's a perfect segue into our next topic. In fact, I think it's our last topic before we go into. No, we got one more. Let's see. Funny that Kohai brought up Yogi Bear.
I'm going to call him Koki Bear now.
A lot of you viewers out there don't know that there is another movie coming out shortly after Cocaine Bear, and it is Winnie the Pooh.
This one's going to suck, though.
Yeah, he's an axe murderer. Him and Boo Boo are axe murderers. They're serial killers. And it's been getting destroyed. I think Piglet's in it too.
Boo Boo shouldn't be, because Boo Boo's a different franchise.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'll
probably still watch it, because like I said, I like shitty movies, but this looks like it's going to be really bad.
Yeah. Micro budget, which it's a horror film. Most horror films can get along with a micro budget, so that's nothing
Well, it gets worse according to Mr. H reviews. This is the first of many. Like we're gonna see like psychotic versions of Peter Pan and Tinkerbell at some point, and
What?
Pinocchio and Bambi. Yeah, like all of that shit's coming down the pike after this.
That sounds like somebody has a twisted view of Disney movies, even more so than Disney themselves.
Well, you got to keep in mind that most of these are Disney properties that are coming into public domain soon, if they're not already. Like, I mean, that's why they were able to do this. As long as they don't use the specific Disney versions, you can make whatever you like with Winnie the Pooh now. Because A.A. Milne's work is now in the public domain. And Disney no longer holds sole copyright to it. You know, like I could go make a Winnie the Pooh movie about anything I wanted to, as long as it doesn't, you know, too closely resemble the version that Disney has used.
Yeah, there's it's not in this article, but there's, and I suspect it's her. The other article that I have here, hold on, let me share this.
Look, did you see Piglet back there? He's got the fucking tusks.
Yep. They're ready for you, man. So I suspect that's her getting ready to get her skull crushed by Winnie the Pooh's car.
I bet is that a gag or an apple in her mouth?
I have no idea.
Because I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if she was trussed up when they were gonna like cook her. These filmmakers are psychopaths. Yeah.
Should I? Well, we can't play the trailer because of, you know. Susan's gone, but still.
Oh, she's not gone yet. That was just announced today. She's not out yet. But even so, like we did, I think if you guys want to watch that trailer, I think we showed one. It was pretty early on when we started doing these, man. Third, fourth episode, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think we did show a trailer for that. Then I don't remember if we got claimed for it or not. Might have been.
I don't know. I mean, but they're showing trailers all over. I mean, it's kind of stupid to copyright strike somebody for a trailer when a variety of news stations and, you know, magazines are using them.
We may not have been for that particular one, but it does happen. Depends on the company that it belongs to. Some of them, like Disney, doesn't usually care because they see it as free advertising. Whereas Warner Brothers, if it's one of theirs, or like Universal or Lionsgate, they will clamp down on you hard.
And that's silly. That's just silly.
Yeah, well, it's part of why they're losing money. Just saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, back when Game of Thrones was still on the air, they were the #1 pirated show in the world, and they were proud of that fact because that meant more people were watching it. You know, and they understood that was part of the cost of doing business. Not that I'm advocating for piracy. I generally won't pirate things myself, but I understand that it happens. I understand that it's part of the business.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So, and the Game of Thrones people, they were. This was. I think before HBO had fully merged with Warner Brothers too, though. But yeah, the cast and the crew would go out and they'd talk about how, you know, yeah, we're the most pirated show ever. And they'd say it like it wasn't a bad thing, you know, because that meant people were watching. And if people liked it when they were pirating it, odds are they'd eventually pay for it too.
Yeah, it's true, because your conscience gets to you. Like, you know what?
Yep.
If I don't support these people, this show is not going to be around for very long.
Well, not just the conscious thing too, but like if they liked it and they said something to somebody else, they're like, hey, this show's pretty cool. You should check it out. And that other person's like, well, okay, but they don't pirate stuff. They're going to go and sign up for the fucking HBO or whatever, and they're going to watch the show. And that's more ad there. I mean, the amount of piracy, because they weren't cracking down on it, the amount of piracy that happened was actually like 0.1% of the actual revenue that they brought in. It didn't hurt them at all, and it got word of mouth out there, and and they knew that. Whereas these days, you know, some people think that they can, you know, they can stamp it out. Well, that's never going to happen. Piracy is always going to be a thing. As long as there's things to pirate, people will pirate them.
Exactly. Now, here's the next article. And boy, I mean, for me, I would care if somebody else besides Ezra Miller were playing the lead.
You know,
do you know how many years I've wanted to see Michael Keaton wear this costume again?
Oh, at least 25.
Exactly. You
Hi,
hit the
Izzy.
nail on the head.
Good to see you. Here's the thing. It's like Joker Voice. He came into a group chat I'm a part of on Twitter when they dropped the trailer for this, and he's like, "So I just saw a Batman trailer that, you know, had the Flash in it."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing. They're playing up on the nostalgia bait. They're jangling keys to get people to go see this thing.
Yeah, because they know nobody wants to go see it. And don't get me wrong, I saw the trailer. I saw the Super Bowl trailer. That trailer was dang good. It was. But dangling Michael Keaton, and then on top of that, not only did they dangle Michael Keaton, right? He's using Christian Bale's motorcycle.
Yeah, there are supposed to be 3 Batman in this, and one of them hasn't officially been announced, and a lot of people think it's going to be Christian Bale's Batman from the Nolan movies. The other one is obviously Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Because he's in the trailer.
Go ahead.
Well, this is all just to draw people into a story that they're retelling, and they're probably going to retell poorly. I will not lie. Keaton looked fucking great in that trailer. He really did. But that's not enough for me. It just isn't. And honestly, guys, if you want to watch, because this is Flashpoint. This is Flashpoint all over again. If you want to watch a good Flashpoint movie, there is a perfectly good animated one that tells the whole fucking story, and it's excellent.
And when he says it's excellent, let me tell you something. If you guys have ever wondered what an evil Wonder Woman would do to somebody, I mean, she was beating the daylights out of everybody.
Yeah, and you know, it just I mean, it involves a lot of moving parts. Like shit gets crazy in that. But it also, I noticed in this trailer, the distinct lack of certain key elements to the story, like the Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Without whom none of this happens. You know, without him, none of that shit happens. I also noticed that it's Keaton's Batman, and it's not Flashpoint Batman, who is in fact Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father.
Yeah.
You know,
so they made some changes, but they know nobody's going to care about Thomas Wayne.
They turned Superman into a girl.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
No, she's supposed to be Supergirl.
Yeah, that's the with the short dark hair. Yeah. Okay.
I remember when the photos surfaced of her in that uniform. She looks awful in that uniform. That uniform looks awful. The haircut is awful.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't look anything like Kara Zor-El.
No,
who's a blonde woman with blue eyes. You know, with the short hair, like if she had gone blonde or whatever, you could make an argument that they were trying to tie that in with Power Girl, who's like the Earth 2 version of Supergirl, which I would be cool with. But this, like, and they just kind of inserted her into Superman's role in that story. They left Superman out entirely. They had filmed stuff with Henry Cavill, and they cut it out of the movie.
They cut it out.
You know, so yeah. And the story is complex, and it affects almost the entire all of the major characters in DC all at once, because it involves time travel and alternate timelines and stuff. So like having these guys in there doesn't necessarily worry me too much. It's just I'm afraid that the overall movie is going to be fucking terrible, and part of that is because regardless of whatever else he was involved in real life, Ezra Miller can't fucking act.
He can, however, allegedly, even though it's on camera, he can again, allegedly attack women.
Well, sure, he's a giant piece of shit in real life too. But I mean, even if you take that aside, he's a terrible fucking actor, and he was the worst person to hire for Barry Allen,
He sure
who
as
is
heck was.
also blonde and blue-eyed, I might add.
Yes.
You know? And doesn't look like he's perpetually 25 years old.
And is not unsure of himself.
Mm-hmm. You know, and there were some cool little like Easter egg things for fans and stuff, like the ring, for example, because you know in the comic books, Flash keeps his suit in his ring.
Yeah.
It's shrunk down and all that stuff, and that I mean, you know, that was neat looking and all that stuff. But like these little things are not enough to draw me in. And like I told Joker Voice, I don't actually care about these movies anymore. It's not even to a point where I hate this stuff anymore. I'm just kind of indifferent to it. I'm just not interested. You know, and that's frankly, a lot of that has to do with the fact that most of the movies DC has put out in the last 10 years, even the ones people liked, weren't fucking good movies. You know, Batman versus Superman is terrible. I'm sorry, but it is. It's awful. You know?
Yeah, it was boring as hell.
Both versions of Justice League, while I like this Snyder cut, I do like it. It's not really a good movie. You know, and it's still better than the Whedon cut.
Yeah. You know what made me not like well, of course, the Whedon cut was horrible, but you know what made me, the only thing that I did not like about the Zack Snyder cut?
What's up?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, because all that stuff that started coming out about him prior to that being released.
Yeah, and even with that, just because I saw both cuts, his portrayal of Barry Allen was the worst I'd ever seen.
He's like a fucking 10-year-old in a 25-year-old's meat suit.
Yeah, and just the way I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, really, they should have just went and got Grant Austin and just had him play. He's the Flash anyway on the CW. They should have just went and got him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Emily or Emma, I'm sorry. I usually just say M. I'm not actually sure which it is. Maybe it's just M. Sorry about that. As far as the last part of what you're saying here goes, as a guy named Nerdrotic here on YouTube does a lot of stuff, and he has a theory, and I'm inclined to agree with him about this, that the reason that Ezra Miller is still in Hollywood and is not in jail, he's very protected. We can see that he's protected. Mm-hmm. Is because he can describe in detail every producer in that town's dick.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because he got passed the fuck around like a pack of cools in a prison yard.
Yeah, he knows too much.
Mm-hmm.
When you see somebody blatantly, anybody else would be under the prison right now. This guy's walking free. It's obvious that he knows too much.
Yeah. And I'd be willing to bet that he was used every bit as badly, if not worse, than the people he's using.
Yeah.
You know, and they're protecting him because they know that if he goes down, a lot of them do too.
But it also makes you wonder, why hasn't he disappeared? Quote, disappeared.
He's too high profile at the moment. You know, he's too high profile, and Warner Brothers is in a position now where they cannot afford not to release this movie.
Yeah. Now,
they will lose.
Sorry,
go ahead.
They'll lose money. Now, I understand what Joker Voice was saying 2 weeks ago. You know, he believes that they'll phase him out, but I don't believe that's going to happen. I think that they're going to let everybody think that. They're going to keep him on this kick where, you know, keep him on a low profile and hope that, you know, people will forget, or they'll come up with some way to try to rehabilitate him or you know, salvage something, and then they'll keep him right on. I don't think that, I personally do not believe that he's going anywhere.
No, not for some time anyway, at least not until the hype and the memory of this this abysmal upcoming movie dies down.
Yeah.
You know, once that's been memory hold, then maybe he'll be memory hold too.
Now, there is a movie that's coming out that I know you're going to like, because it's a movie about your hero.
I mean, I have a lot of heroes, Larry.
Yeah, I know I was one of them, but
Oh, no.
I want to play the trailer. I don't know. Here, let me take this off right quick because I don't know if I
Should
hit
be able
the.
to full screen it from that article, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know if I hit the Okay, I did hit the audio.
I'm gonna have to be careful if there's any kind of like super recognizable music in it.
Oh, there is. That's why I'm gonna, because the actual musical score, the whole
Yeah, the John Williams stuff.
yeah, that's why I'm killing the sound on it. Okay, so we can't do that.
Yeah, all the dicks, them. Tell you what, here's some more dicks. I mean, they're dildos, but what have you.
Well, in any event, everybody, apparently this trailer came out during the Super Bowl. I didn't see it. I must have been looking away at some point, but I looked at this. Now the trailer's outstanding, but I couldn't help but I'm looking at him, and I'm a firm believer in the suspension of disbelief when you're watching a movie. That's the point of a movie, is to escape. So it doesn't always have to make sense to me. That's one thing that irks me, is people are like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's a freaking movie. You're just supposed to suspend your disbelief and enjoy it. But I'm watching this and I'm like, this man is in his 70s.
He's in his 80s, actually.
Oh, he's in his 80s.
Yeah,
and even though the actor's in his 80s, well, so is Indy. And I'm like, how is Indy able to do the things that he's doing in this trailer? I know 25-year-olds that can't do some of the stuff that he was doing. And I was just like, even in the movie, because he as the trailer first starts, when he gets approached about going on the mission that he's on, the first thing he even mentions is his age. That was a long time ago. I'm not that person anymore. Well, you go from that to you swinging a whip and jumping and doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, like you said, this guy's in his 80s.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to believe he can do all of that.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be very badly CGI. They're going to place his face on a younger stuntman's body and have him do all that shit because he can't physically do it. A
lot of the angles are from the back too. A lot of the where you just know, you're like, man, look.
Well, it gets worse.
For a character, he shouldn't be able to do that.
So, Bounding Into Comics put out an article here recently, and they apparently the director James Mangold has talked about how he is deliberately maligning Indiana Jones' character so that fans will be forced to confront their preconceived notions about whether he's a good guy or not. And basically, they're going to pull a fucking Picard with him, and they're going to make him this like weak ass dude who feels bad about stealing all the stuff from all the peoples, and make him out to ultimately be the bad guy or whatever. And he's going to end up handing off that hat and that whip to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and she's going to take over. And apparently, there's going to be some kind of time travel element, from what I understand, where she goes back to correct his mistakes because he's a fucking cis white male. Because he's a representative of the patriarchy. They are going to destroy Indiana Jones with this movie. And this, by the way, is Kathleen Kennedy's swan song. This was her big baby project she's been talking about for like 10 fucking years.
Wait. Kathleen Kennedy is behind this movie?
Kathleen Kennedy has been the driving force behind this movie. She's the only reason it's happening.
Oh, I'm definitely not going to watch this.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at this. Even right here. James Mangold, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says the film is a story about a hero at sunset. Yeah, they're getting rid of him, which I understand. I mean, it's an advancing age, but
they're not just going to kill him off. They're going to kill his reputation too.
Yeah, they're going to kill his reputation. Because Kathleen Kennedy can't have them doing anything.
Well, the force is female.
Well, it's not a very strong one. Not in her case.
This is just more of the same shit that Disney has been putting out, where they take characters that have been beloved for fucking decades, and they quote unquote deconstruct them. This is more postmodernism, fucking commie bullshit.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's not working. And instead they're losing money. You know, I think this guy, this is supposed to be the guy from I think from the Nazis from the Temple. No.
Raiders. He's
Raiders.
I can't remember his name. He's the guy who burns his hand.
But he teams. I read it. The premise. He teams up with the Nazis to stop the Russians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're back to Nazis again when Indy's 80 fucking years old, and it's way past World War II. You know, because
it says that. Well, it's following the appropriate timeline. Indy's pissed off that America has brought over a bunch of Nazis to do stuff. It's true. It happened. We know it happened. But Kathleen is just using it to hide behind. It's like that doesn't need to be a plot, a plot line. Like what was the need to do any of this stuff?
well, it's
But like you said, they got
deconstruction.
Character assassination. They got to kill his character.
Yeah, it's the same shit they're doing with Luke Skywalker. Well, have been doing with Luke Skywalker, and now they're saying that he's gay and his pronouns are they, him, or some shit like that.
And they got Mark Hamill to say it because Mark Hamill is gay.
Well, Mark Hamill's not gay, but he's woke as shit.
No. I could have sworn I read that he was.
Well, I mean, maybe he is now, but yeah, he's got grandkids, so I don't know.
That doesn't mean anything.
So
plenty of gay men have married women and had kids. So.
But yeah, it's just there's a lot of shit that goes into this, and this is decades in the making. This is the same crap they have been doing with classic franchises for years now, destroying anything masculine, destroying anything where things that people love, they're breaking them down. It's like why you hear the term subverted expectations so frequently. Yeah. Subversion is a bad thing, by the way.
Before you go into it, let me throw in that alleged about Mark Hamill. Allegedly, that he attends. Just allegedly.
Hey, greetings, forensic mystics. Welcome to the show. Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, there are exactly 3 Indiana Jones movies. I don't even want to talk about Crystal Skull because that movie was dumb as shit too.
I don't even count that one.
No, that's what I'm saying. There are only 3. There will only ever be 3. And just because I have a copy of Crystal Skull doesn't mean anything. What it means is that I'm a bit of a, I don't know, obsessive compulsive collector. It's a thing.
Now this one, guys, this is for you D&D fans out there, for you fantasy fans out there, for those of us who like Game of Thrones and all these other ones, all the other trader, exactly. But Lord of the Rings, every once in a while you'll catch a Dungeons and Dragons movie come out, right? The ones I've seen, even the ones that were made for TV, were pretty decent.
This one, talking about the ones with, like, Jeremy Irons plays like the evil wizard with the red dragon. Because that's the only one I've seen, and it wasn't that good. I mean, it was fun and enjoyable, but it's a really bad movie.
No, there's more than one. There were like 4 or 5 different Dungeons and Dragons movies. So when you say that, I don't remember Jeremy Irons being in it. So you probably saw the one that I didn't see. But this one looks like it's going to be pretty good. The only thing, let me see if this will even work. Here we go. Here's the trailer.
I would be curious, actually, how much of this, right? Because the dialogue in it is very like modern day, current era, like millennial crap, right?
Or you
And
want
so
them to say these and thous, and people don't understand what they're saying?
no, I just maybe a little bit more flowery, like medieval type language, but no, not necessarily like these and thous. I'm just saying that like this here. I'm thinking there are probably sharper stairs somewhere. That's something that like a modern person might say, for example.
Suspension of disbelief.
Right, and that kind of dialogue takes me out of it, is what I'm getting at, in a fantasy movie. Now, I could see that, and this is where I'm going with this. I could see that if this was kind of like a there are a number of independent movies on Amazon where they do this kind of thing, where gamers will sit around a table and they'll play their characters, and then the point of view switches so that they are their characters, kind of thing. So like if this was these people were being played, this is just a visualization of a D&D game where
You mean like Critical Role or something?
yeah, kind of like that, but this is like, then I could see the dialogue actually making sense, but like at the moment it just kind of seems like a little off-putting. And not off-putting in like it's like, oh, gross or bad way. It's just, it seems like I don't know. It breaks the illusion for me, is all I'm saying.
Well, it also depends. D&D is D&D, man. It also depends on when the time is set. It's a different realm. Maybe in the realm that they're in, they talk modern, but things are a bit older. Now, I'll tell you what throws me off. This right here. You know who this is, correct? Michelle Rodriguez.
It's a little blurry on my screen, but yeah, I know who
That's Michelle Rodriguez
is.
from Fast and Furious and all those other. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with Michelle Rodriguez.
Nah, she's ghetto hot.
Okay.
What she is.
Okay. What I have a problem with is the character class that she's playing. She's playing a barbarian. I'm supposed to believe that she's a barbarian.
I mean, she's physically bigger than Chris Pine. That dude's tiny, except his head. His head is massive.
He's in 2 movies also. There's another one that he's got coming up. For those of you...
Right there. I know, I was being ironic. That's not something you would say in fucking D&D. Not in that world.
For those of you who are avid Netflix watchers and like Netflix shows, this guy was the main character, one of the main characters of a show called The Bridgertons. He was the Duke, and he's not in the second one because he decided to go do something else. Why, I don't know. But he was in The Bridgertons. I know because I'm married, which meant I had to watch it. And to my shame, I ended up being more into the show than my wife. So, he does have a big head.
Okay, so the line just before this one, where he says, "I find that irony is a blade that cuts both ways and deep," that is a good line for this kind of setting. But this follow-up, "You're not a lot of fun, are you?" It's not. It's illusion breaking. Also, Michelle,
I don't see how. I mean, saying that somebody's not a lot of fun, I don't think that's illusion breaking.
Right. But I just, again, I could see this more. I guess it'd be more forgiving of it if it was that kind of setup where it's bookended by gamers at a table, right?
Okay.
And these are their characters. So obviously they're voicing their characters and they're saying the things. But if, and the rest of the world, the NPCs are all very, thee and thou, as you put it. I could get behind that, yeah.
Well, if you want to see a mixture of that type of language, you can look at Spartacus. What was it? Was it on HBO or?
It was on Show or Stars or something. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think it was Showtime.
Blood and Sand, I think.
It took me a minute to figure out what the hell those people were saying. I mean, I was like, yeah, this and this. I'm like, what? Like, okay. He does have a big head. Or is it just a hairstyle?
Fucking scissoring. Sorry, that was inappropriate. See, I don't know. Some of the CG looks pretty bad too.
Uh,
That shot of the snowy shit that looked good.
Who needs heroes? Samuel does. His outlook on life is
I need a hero.
abyssal. Wait a minute. I know I didn't just see some low budget lightsabers.
You did. Although I like the inclusion of the mimic and what looks like owl bears. That's cool and all. They just don't look very well animated. Yeah.
I'll watch it. I mean, if I can watch Cocaine Bear, I can watch this.
Yeah, I mean, I might watch it. I might enjoy it just from a purely bad movie perspective because, as you know, I do love me some bad movies, and I don't know, maybe it'll be good. Who knows? Obviously I haven't seen it, but and maybe it will be. That's always possible. I just don't get. I'm not drawn in by the trailer. Is all I'm saying. And that's the one job a trailer has is to hook you into going to see the rest of the movie.
You're not drawn in by much of anything.
No, I'm not because I'm a grumpy bastard.
By the way, since Michelle plays D&D, for those of you who have played or like to play it, so you've heard of anime, right?
Have I heard of the genre anime?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. For those of you, hold on. For those of you who are D&D players, if you've ever watched anime and you've wondered what would happen if you created an anime character for D&D and wondered if it is possible.
One
Samuel,
second.
if you do that.
Yeah. No, my cursor's not in the right place. It was being stupid.
It is very possible. Anime 5e. It is based off of D&D's 5e rules. Out of curiosity, I actually picked this book up last year. I actually picked this book up and looked at it, and it's very detailed.
I hope it's better than the actual 5th edition rules. Those are garbage.
Well, what makes this book so great is that, and I'm literally surrounded by people who play D&D. That's why I know. But this one, the best thing about the rules is it tells you throw the rules out and create your own. That's exactly what it says. You don't like the rules? Throw them out. That's exactly what it says. It's like you do what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it just titled anime then? Because
Oh no.
because if it's comic books, then it's manga.
No, okay. So it's anime is anime is basically is Japanese cartoon.
Yeah, but manga would
but
be the comic format.
Yeah, manga is the comic format. This allows you to create anime characters. It's a whole different system
gotcha.
that allows you to do that. It doesn't just it doesn't just pigeonhole you. Now you can use the standard D&D classes, but once you read this and what it allows you to do, I mean, Thor's hammer is in here. It pulls from everything. You can create your own weapons. You can do all kinds of stuff. So it really allows you to homebrew or create your own world, your own stuff, rather than being stuck with 5e rules. Because I agree, I think they should have kept the version 3's rules or 3.5 myself.
So basically, this allows you to apply an anime aesthetic to existing D&D.
Yeah, and or you can create. It has a whole different set of classes in there. Like you can literally do whatever you want. It provides all the guidelines. It even tells you if something in the book doesn't fit what you want to do, it tells you throw it out, throw the rule out, and just continue on with what you're doing. It allows you to actually create your own powers and name them, and just say what they do, and assign like it's so detailed with the way that it works.
I could kind of see that backfiring though too, because it seems like it sort of removes the backbone of the structure of the game.
No, it doesn't. I thought so too until I bought the book and saw how and actually read how it works. It really doesn't. It even tells you like I agree with the philosophy. You can actually do a game without the point being that whether or not somebody can die. Like it can always be an objective wasn't met, or someone else dies or something. There's just ways that you can do a game without pigeonholing yourself to the rules. Because like you said, 5e's rules are and it caps at 20. The caps at level 20. This goes beyond level 20. There is no end to it. It goes beyond level 20. Like your characters really don't even start getting super powerful. I mean, they get strong, but it goes beyond level 20.
I know some people who might be interested in this. I don't do a lot of tabletop gaming myself. I honestly, I find it a little bit boring, but yeah, I know some people who actually Maester Chow might be interested in this.
Yeah, tell them about it. I mean, I'll be happy to answer those questions. Like I said, I'm actually looking at the book right now. So yeah, it was worth every penny.
Because he loves anime. He does tabletop gaming.
Oh, he'll love this, and there's add-ons to it also. Extra stuff. Like I said, you can do whatever you want with it.
Speaking of anime, did you ever get around to watching Chainsaw Man?
You know what? I think I got to watch the opening, and then I had to do something else, and I forgot all about it. Speaking of that, guys, this week we had to change the format a little bit, especially because of a lot of news that came out. But what we were going to do this week was we were going to discuss the history of comics, and we wanted to do something. We were going to do something on the value of collectibles, right? But as these other stories started coming out, and me getting around to it today, I realized that those topics are going to take more research. They deserve more research because the origin of comics was more detailed than even I thought. And I took a comics class in my undergrad, and so where I thought it stopped, it actually doesn't. It actually goes all the way back. Even hieroglyphics is even considered comics. So
yeah.
Certain
snobs in academia.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't agree with that, but there's so much more detail to its origins, even more so than just Jack Kirby.
As American comics go, the origins are shortly after World War II, or World War I. Sorry, shortly after World War I is really when it started kicking off here. You could almost say that the little like 8-page funny books that you'd find in outhouses in the Old West could count towards that, because they were generally illustrated with little balloons for talk and all that stuff, but they were sort of like the beginnings of comic strips rather. But yeah, I have yet to find the damn thing. I wonder if he took it down. But Eric July, Young Ripa 59 here on YouTube, did a 3-hour breakdown of the history of the American comics, starting with I don't think he went quite back as far as the Old West, but he did go into Atlas Comics and and that sort of thing, which were the beginnings of, that's what Marvel was called before it was Marvel, and all of the other little companies like I can't remember what the name of it was, but the character who is currently called Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel, and was actually under a separate company, a separate press that got absorbed into Detective Comics, which is later got shortened to DC. And was called Captain Marvel for many, many, many years until Marvel got pissy about it in the 70s. and all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and this is all of the stuff that he talks about at the beginning was well before guys like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee and Steve Ditko got into the format themselves, even before Jerry Siegel and Joel Shuster, who created Superman, or Bob Kane and Bill Finger, who created Batman. Mostly it was Bill Finger, by the way. Bob Kane just took credit for most of it for decades and decades. But anyway, there was a lot of stuff there, and Eric July did a really, really good in-depth breakdown of all of that history, and he was leading up to a point that he was trying to make. But it's really excellent. I'm still trying to find it. It was last year sometime before he started working on his own comics, and I haven't yet. But when I do, I'll probably put it link to it in the community tab on this channel, and Larry, I will get it to you directly, because I said I would. I'm still looking for it though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's no problem. But yeah, we definitely wanted to we want to get that guys to you. Also, my motivation behind doing the value of collectibles is I'm sure you guys, Goodwill's everywhere, and I have been motivated to actually go down to Goodwill and actually look around. I've normally just associated a lot of stuff with junk. It just never bothered. But the guy who's staying with me is, I call my little brother, as you know. So he bought, I think it was like $10, and it was like these 3 boxes. They're not like giant boxes, like long boxes that you could just hold in your hand, right? And they had and they had like basketball cards or whatnot in them. He has about 7 Michael Jordan cards in there, and I told him, I said, you should start looking those up. There's no telling how much they were. One of them he pulled out. One of them alone is going for $8,000.
Nice.
That's just one of them. The others that he had were between $3,000 and $6,000. This wasn't counting all the others he had. Mm-hmm. I think he had Shaq's rookie card when he was with the Orlando Magic. I just looked at him. I said, "You've got thousands of dollars sitting right here. Thousands." He looked at the card numbers. He looked up the card numbers, the type, so he knew exactly what he had. He didn't just do a basic search. It was detailed.
Yeah. Depending on what condition they're in, they could be worth a hell of a lot more than that too.
Depending on, they're all in perfect condition. They're all in mint condition. And I told him, he said, who in the world would get rid of these? I said, I'll bet you it was somebody's wife or somebody's mom.
Yeah,
mom. That didn't know what she had in her hands.
It's always a mom. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, like he's got Jordan's rookie card in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his gold rookie card in there. I was just like, these are priceless, dude.
Yeah, I can't tell you, man, how many times I've had that conversation with my own mother. I was like, some of those toys and comics that I had when I was a kid could have made me rich today. But you garage sailed them.
Oh, bro. A friend of mine had, he used to collect comics, and his mom, he had boxes of, his mom threw them all out. This dude had Spider-Man #3. He had like X-Men #1. I mean, he had them in the plastic and mint condition. She tossed them all. She tossed them. She didn't even take them to Goodwill, so she tossed them.
Yeah, that's by the way, that's a bit of an exaggeration about my mother. Most of the stuff that I've had that was worth money was lost through no fault of hers. like floods or fires or that kind of thing. Occasionally moves. Some of it was stolen, that kind of thing. A lot of it had nothing to do with her. I was just giving her shit.
Right.
But it does happen in the wider world of collector stuff.
No, Michelle, I wouldn't be disappointed in you. I didn't even know the I'm guessing Amy Lee is the singer of Evanescence. I didn't even know she wrote one. Now,
Yeah.
Young Ripper wrote. He did a comic too, and I'm trying to get my hands on that.
Isom #1, is that the one you're talking about?
It's called Ison.
Isom, ISOM.
Ison. Okay.
Yeah, he. I think you can still get.
I've heard of it too.
The common run, but like the variant covers are all gone and they're not reprinting any of that stuff. But I think you can still. I don't know, because I think these are all limited runs, so you might want to check on that. But he's got all that stuff linked up, I think, on his Twitter and his YouTube channel too, where you can go to his website. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, most of my collection is still in storage, so but I've got some cool stuff in there.
I want to make my own comic, and I've got just a comic in mind. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say the name, but it's about two certain guys, one with tentacles and the other. But yeah, but hey guys, thank you for joining us. That time really flew by. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sticking with us. I mean, we really appreciate you guys. Oh, Kohai's got a joke.
What do you call a dog with no legs? I think I've heard this before.
You call it a Shadowhawk.
No.
That's a good question.
Cigarette, because I take him for a track every morning. Oh wow, that's good.
Hey, wait a minute. Why did Primal put a comment up? Did you delete it?
Huh? No, it's still up.
That's weird. Because I've got art. I've got what we're looking at, but I also have another. That's weird.
Is it set on Top Chat or Live Chat?
It's set up on Top Chat.
That's your problem. You set it to Live Chat, it'll show everything that's still up that hasn't been removed by me, which nothing has. So
there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he was referring to the comic you're talking about making, that you should name it Hentai Fucker. So it's a little on the nose, if you ask me, but okay. So, but all right, guys. We appreciate you guys hanging out. We are way past Larry's bedtime. So, and all that, because it's coming up on midnight for me here, and that he's a couple hours ahead of me, so it's it's got to be pretty late for him. But we do appreciate you guys hanging out. We managed to get actually through most of the whole list today, which
we got through the entire list.
Yeah. Which we rarely do. In addition to waxing eloquent about some other things towards the beginning of the show. Appreciate all of you guys for hanging out and coming to see us. I think this has been a pretty good show. Did you have anything you want to talk about before we go?
Yeah. So guys, like I said, thank you for coming again. But next week we're gonna have the two things that we're gonna have: the origin of comics and the value of finding junk. But you never know what you pick up from a collectible store. But we're gonna have some more stuff for you next week, and at probably the first week of next month, we're gonna have another quiz for you guys. I haven't decided on what type it's gonna be yet. Michelle, I'll look into Amy. Primal one. Good night. But other than that, like I said, thank you guys for joining us, and just keep looking ahead, man. We're trying to grow and improve some things, so we're constantly looking at other stuff that we can add. I just hope that Susan leaving will make YouTube, loosen up a bit, so we can actually. There's so much more we can do with this
Well,
channel.
like I said, man, I think it will temporarily, but I think it'll only be temporary.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, come back on Saturday for Screaming Into the Void. We'll see you then. And also, I've been doing a lot of late night gaming streams on here. Might even consider doing another one tonight here in a little bit. Who knows? It could happen. And that said, yeah, it's been great. It's been a good show. Appreciate all of you coming. Like I said, and remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming
Dragon
cobras.
cigarettes on their way out to the store.
Damn it.
What is it?